Today we bring you the story of Nepal, where a government's attempt to silence its people through a social media ban ended up triggering the biggest youth uprising in recent history. This is not just about Facebook, Instagram or TikTok. This is about corruption, nepotism, economic failure and the anger of an entire generation against their political system. Let's understand what really happened. On September 4th, the government of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli issued a sudden order banning 26 social media platforms including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and X. The official reason? To curb hate speech, misinformation and cybercrime. But the real reason? To stop criticism and hide the lavish lifestyle of politicians and their families. What Nepali youth had been calling out on TikTok and Instagram for weeks. Now, social media was not just a place for expression. For many young entrepreneurs, especially in the tourism sector, it was their livelihood. The ban was seen as stealing their voice, their freedom and their bread. For years, Nepal's youth had been frustrated. The country has been a republic for 10 years now, but ordinary life has not improved. Jobs in the formal sector are nearly non-existent. Every year, thousands leave Nepal for minimal jobs abroad. Corruption and nepotism dominate politics. And the same three leaders, Oli, Prachanda and Deuba, have been rotating power for 30 years. The youth saw their children, the so-called Nepo kids, flaunting imported cars and foreign holidays online. The gap between leaders and citizens had become too wide. So when the Oli government banned social media, all this hidden frustration exploded onto the streets. A group called Hami Nepal, founded by 36-year-old Sudan Gurung, began mobilizing on Discord and TikTok. They circulated posters asking students to join peaceful rallies in Kathmandu on September 8th. By morning, thousands of students in uniforms filled the streets, holding placards and shouting slogans. Protest also spread to Pokhara and Chitwan. At first, it was peaceful. Protesters showed their hands to police, saying they were unarmed. But suddenly bullets were fired. The government claimed anti-social elements had started arson, so the police had to act. But eyewitnesses say the firing was unprovoked. By the end of the day, 19 people were dead, including a 12-year-old child. More than 400 were injured, many shot in the head and chest, a violation of humanitarian law. This brutality shook the nation. The crackdown was worse than even the 2006 People's Movement against King Gyanendra. September 8 is now marked as a dark day in Nepal's history. The Home Minister resigned the evening. The government also lifted the social media ban, but it was too late. Now the protests were no longer about the ban. They were about justice for the dead, accountability for corruption, and one clear demand: Prime Minister Oli must resign. By the next day, protesters set fire to houses of top leaders including Oli, Prachanda and Deuba. Helicopters were seen airlifting politicians and their families to safe areas. Even Nepal's parliament building was burnt. For the youth, this was not about one party or one leader. It was a call for a new beginning, free from the old political elite. Facing immense pressure, Oli announced his resignation, but the youth are not stopping there. The demands are bigger: a transparent, independent watchdog against corruption, an end to dynastic politics, real accountability and systematic change. The movement has no political party backing it. In fact, political parties were asked to stay away. This uprising is purely people-driven, led by Nepal's youth. The big question now is Nepal going the way of Sri Lanka and Bangladesh? In both these countries, corruption, mismanagement and youth anger led to mass protests and the fail of governments. Nepal may now be walking the same path. For the common Nepali, democracy has not yet delivered jobs, stability or fairness. The old leaders failed to bring change. The new generation is no longer willing to wait. Nepal's protests began with the social media ban but quickly transformed into a revolution against an entire political system. When a government loses the trust of its youth, no amount of bullets, tear gas or curfews can save it. The message from Kathmandu is clear. No matter which party you belong to, no matter how powerful you are, enough is enough. We want a new beginning.